This short video will demonstrate how to register for your classes using Santa Barbara City College's online student portal called Pipeline. You'll find a direct link to the Pipeline login screen from the SBCC homepage. If this is your first time logging in or you have forgotten your username and password, click on Find and Set Up Your Account here. This will generate a username and password you can use to log in. Note, this is not the same as your CCC Apply login username and password. Enter your Pipeline username and password and click the Login button. To register, click on the Student drop-down menu button and select the registration option from the list. The screen will reconfigure to provide you with all the options available for class registration. The first thing to do before registering for classes is to verify your registration appointment date and time, and check the status of any pre-registration requirements you must clear before you can register. Begin by clicking the Check Your Pre-Registration Requirements and Registration Appointment link. Next, select the appropriate semester for which you are registering via the Select a Term pull-down menu. Then click Submit. In this example, we'll use Fall 2017. The screen reconfigures to show the date and time on or after which you can register for classes. According to Pipeline, we can register for classes anytime on or after July 6, 2017 at 8 a.m. This screen also verifies that we have no registration holds on our account. With no registration holds and having verified our registration eligibility date, we can move forward to class registration. There's more than one way in Pipeline to register for classes. The process we're going to demonstrate is a more deliberate method that will help eliminate problems many students experience using other methods. The recommended method starts by finding the classes you want to register for using the SBCC online schedule of classes. So we're going to leave Pipeline for the moment and open a new browser tab to view the SBCC main website. Scroll down the page a little until you find the link for classes offered. Click the link. The browser refreshes to present links to the current and past class schedules. Choose the schedule for the term you wish to register for. In this example, we'll click on the Fall 2017 schedule of classes. The Schedule of Classes website opens in a new browser window. Right away, you can see several fields and options that allow you to narrow your searches by subject, instructor name, instructional method, such as classroom only or internet web classes, times and/or days of the week, and more. The option on the right to search for open classes only is very helpful, and students really like the attribute search on the bottom that allows you to look up classes that count towards specific categories, such as SBCC's GE, IGTC, or only classes that are UC transferable. We're going to conduct a simple search using just the subject field and all instructional methods. Be sure to spend some time on your own practicing how to use all the features of the online schedule of classes. Start by making sure the appropriate term and program are selected in the list located at the top of the page. Now, let's choose a subject. Most new college students will benefit from taking their required English classes early in their college career. So let's use English 110 as our example. Scroll through the list of subjects until you find English and select it from the list. Next, scroll to the bottom of the page and click the Search button. The page reconfigures with a list of all the English courses offered at SBCC in the Fall 2017 term. The courses are listed numerically by course number. Scroll through the list until you find the course you are looking for. In this example, that's English 110. The first thing you should notice is there are a lot of English 110 courses offered. In class scheduling speak, classes are referred to as sections. So we're clear, English 110 is the course, and each offering of the course is called a class or section. But why so many? The obvious reason is because almost every student needs to take English 110. So a lot of classes must be offered to accommodate the number of students who need to take the course. The other reason is that we want to offer enough classes at different times and days of the week. Okay, let's break this down column by column. The first column is status. The class is either open, waitlisted, or closed. The next column is the instructional methods code column. If no code is listed in the column, it's a regular classroom-based class. But some do have codes which lend extra information about that class. For example, OL means this is an internet web-based class, also known as an online class. Classes with an LC code are learning communities taught through SBCC's Express to Success program. You need to contact the Express to Success program to register for these classes. For details about all the codes, click the I link at the top of the column for a pop-up window of all the code definitions. Okay, the next column is labeled CRN. This stands for course reference number, and it's a very important number. This is the number you will enter in Pipeline to register for this class. Each class has a unique CRN, and that's how the system knows which class you want to register for. In other words, do you want to register for CRN 33943, which is the English 110 class that meets Monday through Friday from 12:10 to 1:30, except for Thursday, which meets from 12:25 to 1:40? Or do you want to register for CRN 34015 that meets Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 11:25 to 12:20 and on Thursday from 11:15 to 12:50? Notice also that each CRN is hyperlinked. Click the link to open a pop-up window with all the details of this class, including a course description, links for information about textbooks and course materials, general and other important section information, and a list of course prerequisites and/or co-requisites, which we will talk about in a minute. There's information on when the class meets and where, and seating and waitlist availability. There's even a list of critical dates for this course, which includes the last day to add the class, last day to drop the class and still get a refund, the last date to drop the class without receiving a W or withdrawal on your record, and the last day to drop with a W. Some classes have different add, drop, and withdrawal dates, so make sure to check these for all your classes every semester. Knowing if the course you are interested in has any prerequisites or co-requisites is very important when identifying courses to register for. First, prerequisites. These are courses or conditions that you must have completed to be eligible to register for this course. Later, when you attempt to register for this class in Pipeline, if you have not met the course prerequisites, Pipeline will automatically block you from registering for this course. Let's assume you've met at least one of the prerequisites, so we're okay to register for this course. Notice that there are co-requisites listed also. Co-requisites are courses you must take concurrently with or at the same time as this course. Generally, these are supporting courses to this course, such as a lab or other type of course. Later, when you register for this class, Pipeline will automatically prompt you to also register for the co-requisite course. So you'll need to have looked up these co-requisite courses in the schedule, English 120 or Library 101 in our example, to find the appropriate CRN for the co-requisite class you want to take. All right, the rest of these columns are largely self-explanatory. The credit column tells you how many units the course is worth, 3 in our example. Type tells you the type of instruction, in this case, lecture. Meeting time identifies which days of the week and time of the day the classes will be meeting. It's important to point out that an R listed means Thursday. Location lets you know where the class meets. If it's an online class, online is listed. Click the hyperlink to open a campus map that highlights where the building is. A few classes are offered off campus, including classes taught through dual enrollment at local Santa Barbara high schools. Always make sure the location is going to work for you. The next group of columns are about class availability. The columns are capacity, actual, waitlist capacity, and waitlist actual. The first are easy. Capacity is how many students can register for this class. Actual tells you how many have already registered. If the numbers are red, then you know the class capacity has already been reached. It will also result in the class status being closed. Some classes offer an option to get on the wait list. Right now, the class is full, but some other student already registered in this class may opt to drop it. If that happens, then a seat in the class automatically opens up for someone else. Who gets that seat? Whoever is at the top of the wait list. As provided in the schedule of classes, there's a waitlist capacity and waitlist actual. Getting on the waitlist is a function in Pipeline when you attempt to register for a class that is already full. We'll see an example of this later. The final few columns to explain before moving on are instructor name, date, which reflects the first and last day of class, and a representation of that same date range reflected in weeks, usually 16 weeks in terms of a normal semester, but not always. Some classes start or end at different times, so check this column for all your classes. So, we found out all about this English 110 course. Which class should we register for? In this example, we'll use the class referenced by CRN 35366, which meets on Mondays and Wednesdays from 3:55 to 5:15 in the afternoon. The class is taught by Merrill Peters in room ECC 17, which according to the map is in the East Campus classroom. Now, before we can move on and get back into Pipeline, we need to find a CRN for the English 120 or Library 101 co-requisite class. Just click the hyperlinked course reference number and scroll down to the section information area. Here, Listed as section co-requisites will be the CRNs for co-requisite classes that correlate to the class selected in this example. The CRN listed is for the English 120 class, assigned as the co-requisite to the English 110 class we selected. Make a note of both the CRN for English 110 and English 120, as you will need them when registering for the class. Okay, now with our list of CRNs, we can get back to Pipeline and class registration. Just click back into the Browser tab with your Pipeline account and select the Return to Pipeline link. Then return to the Registration link under the Student drop-down menu button. Click the Register, Add, or Drop Classes link from the Pipeline registration screen. The first time you register each semester, you will see several screens requesting that you update certain information that you provided during your application for admission to SBCC, such as verifying your educational goal or your major. You will eventually end up at a screen to acknowledge your awareness of the college fees and tuition and the consequences for failing to make payment. Click the I agree button to continue. Next is an acknowledgement of the SBCC honor code. Read the screen carefully, then click the continue button to move on. The final screen is an acknowledgement that all of this information has been recorded and you can begin registration. Click the Continue to Registration button. Welcome to the Add or Drop Classes screen. It's a simple screen, really. Gray boxes contain instructions to add a class, information about waitlists, and how to get an add code from an instructor for classes that do not have a waitlist. The adjacent gray box contains important information about paying fees. Scroll down to the bottom of the page to find the Add Classes worksheet. The available fields are provided for you to enter the CRNs of classes you identified during your work in the online schedule of classes. Recall that we found an English 110 class and the co-requisite English 120 class. Normally, you enter the CRNs for these and other classes you've selected, but for the sake of example, we're only going to enter the CRN for the English 110 class. Let's click into the first CRN field and enter the course reference number for the English 110 class, CRN 35366. Then click Submit Changes and the page will reload with the status of your class registration. First, note that Pipeline shows the English 110 course is added, but really only temporarily. As anticipated, Pipeline also reports a registration add error because we attempted to register for a class without the required co-requisite class. Let's follow the instructions provided by Pipeline and add the suggested English 120 course, CRN 35367. Enter the CRN in the fields provided and click Submit Changes. Congratulations! Both courses have been added to our schedule successfully and Pipeline reports no errors. Information on the screen provides Status, a message telling us that we registered for these classes via the web and the date the classes were added. Action, opens a pull-down menu of other things we can do regarding this class. In this case, the only other action we can perform is to drop the class. More about actions a little later. The next several columns indicate the course reference number, subject, and course number, that we are taking this course for credit, how many units will be earned for the successful completion of the class, how it is graded, usually standard letter grading or pass, no pass, and the course title. Let's see what else Pipeline can do. For the sake of example, we're going to purposely add a class we know is full but open for waitlisting. In the example, we'll add a Biology 100 course, CRN 30927, and click Submit Changes. The page refreshes and provides us with another registration add error indicating that the biology course is closed. Open the Action pull-down menu and select the Waitlisted option. Then click Submit Changes. Again, the page refreshes to show the biology course has been added to our current schedule, but the status shows waitlisted. Waitlist is for classes that are full, but in the event a student already registered in the class decides to drop, someone on the waitlist can then take the open seat. As seats in the course open, students on the waitlist are sent an email to their Pipeline email account, giving them the opportunity to add the recently opened seat. The first student on the waitlist is given 72 hours to take the open seat. If he or she doesn't take the seat in that time, the next student on the list gets 72 hours, and so on. Continuing this demonstration of how to use Pipeline to register for classes, let's look at how to drop a class. Let's drop the biology course. Open the Action pull-down menu and choose Drop from the option. Then click Submit Changes. The page will refresh and we can see that the biology course has been removed from our current schedule. Okay, one last example to demonstrate before wrapping up this tutorial. What might happen if we attempt to add a class that has a schedule conflict with another class we are already registered for? Let's find out. Recall that our English 110 class meets on Mondays and Wednesdays from 3:55 to 5:15 in the afternoon. And there just happens to be a beginning Chinese 1, Chin 101 class, CRN 35761, that meets at those same days and times. We're going to attempt to register for this class by entering the CRN 35761 in the Add Classes worksheet and click Submit Changes. Pipeline presents another registration add error, this time alerting us to the schedule conflict between the courses. At this point, you have two options. You can find another beginning Chinese class to take that doesn't conflict with the other classes, or you can drop the conflicting class and attempt to re-register for the beginning Chinese. Okay, we think you get the hang of it. Remember to look for and carefully read all pipeline registration add errors. With a little pre-planning, identifying the courses you want to take by using the online schedule of classes and noting those CRNs, reading any errors Pipeline presents to you, and using some common sense, you should be able to register for all your classes without problems. But if you do run into registration problems, you can contact SBCC's Welcome Center for assistance. Let's wrap up this tutorial by showing you the rest of the registration process. We've got the two classes we want to register for, and we're ready to exit registration. Click the Exit Registration and View Fees button. The page refreshes to present you a summary of the tuition and fees you owe based on the classes you want to register for. But there are a few more options to consider regarding fees. First, notice the health fee. These fees are required by the state that you must pay, so there's no eliminating them. Next are the student representation and student body activity pass fees. These are optional fees, so you don't have to pay them. Click the Student Body Fees, View More Details button for a description of the fees and an opportunity to opt out of these fees. Click the Opt Out button for each of these fees if you don't want these benefits, or keep them, or opt out of one and keep the other. We find that these fees and access to these benefits will improve your college experience, so we will not opt out of any in this demonstration. Click the Return to the Account Detail page. Do you plan to drive to and park on campus? Unless you love the idea of paying for a daily permit every time you come to campus, you're going to need a parking permit. Click the link to order a parking permit button. The page will refresh with a form to get a parking permit. Remember, permits must be purchased for each term, and if you park on campus without a permit, you will get a ticket. In our example, we'll just walk to class or take the bus. Clicking the Click to View and Print Schedule Bill button opens a pop-up window with a summary of your classes, meeting days and times, instructor name and contact information, and your fees and tuition. It's a good idea to print this for your records. The last button to discuss is the Click to Pay by Credit Card button. Remember that payment of fees is due at the time of registration. Click the button to make your payment by credit or debit card. The page refreshes to the Tuition and Fees payment screen that presents a summary of your fees. Click the Submit button. The page will refresh with a secure credit card payment system. Just follow the on-screen instructions. Classes must be paid within 7 days of registering for them. If you're receiving financial aid, reach out to the financial aid office to make sure it will be applied to your fees in time. Okay, that's it. As you've seen, Pipeline is powerful, very intuitive, and easy to use. If you need to create your first schedule, make changes to your current schedule, or register for classes in future semesters, keep the steps detailed in this tutorial in mind, and you should have no trouble. You can even return to this tutorial and watch it again if you need a refresher. The tutorial only demonstrated just a part of all that Pipeline can do. We encourage you to spend some time in Pipeline to investigate and practice using all its features and capabilities. Thank you for your attention to this presentation, and good luck in all your academic pursuits.